happy to have Jessica Ehrlich and Michelle Hammonds from the Department of Insurance, Securities, and Banking here in the District of Columbia to talk to us about how can we keep our money? It's hard enough to try to make it, ladies, but then to make sure to do the right with it so that sort of build wealth in our communities. Michelle, can we start with you and just talk about, what DISB is engaged with over there? How are we trying to empower our residents financially?
Sure. So thank you for having us on the show today. We are trying to really help our residents manage their financial lives and understand what their options are. So that's the first and foremost things. There's so many resources out there. As Director Donald earlier mentioned, we want to make sure we can get those to the individuals in the community. My office provides resources and information on really how to increase generational wealth and develop really sound principles for personal money management. Many times when I teach classes and talk to individuals, they say, I wish I had this when I was younger. And so we try to share this information across all age groups. I always tell people we work with ages 9 to 99 to teach them about how to manage their personal finances. And we really want to promote financial resilience through financial education and access to those resources and skills. Because one thing that we do know is not just the education, but it's also being able to act on what you've learned so that you can make positive financial decisions in your life.
And I'm glad that, no offense to anybody else, but I'm glad to have two women on the show because, first of all, we tend to be the ones that sort of manage the household resources. We have to do so with so much less than others, and have to be creative in how we manage those resources. So, Jessica, talk about that a little bit. How people are really what your programs do to help people know how to manage a lot with a little.
Well, thank you so much, Denise, for having us today. Also, Michelle is our director of our education and empowerment programming. And we also have a woman commissioner who we are here on behalf of today, Commissioner Karima Woods, and she wishes she could be with us today also, but she was had to be in some meetings with the mayor today because there's a lot going on in the district. Yes. I think there are so many programs. It's really amazing. I think when you talk about the Department of Insurance, Securities, and Banking, the title seems a little intimidating. It does. And we have a three-pronged mission. Two of those prongs, one is to help small businesses in the district with financing. One of them is to help our consumers and our residents. So we're here, we handle consumer complaints against everything from whether it's your car insurance, your health insurance, life insurance, anything that you insure, your business, whatever that may be, as well as how to save, how to have a savings account, what it looks like to think about, as Michelle said, generational wealth. What are you looking at in terms of retirement, thinking and planning ahead? We have some fantastic programs. It was very interesting to have, you mentioned student loans and that gap that can happen. We have a fabulous student loan ombudsman in our department. And he is there to help all of our DC residents, whether you're looking at secondary education, technical training, whether you want to go on to graduate school of any kind. He helps people manage not only debt they already have, but before you even go into debt, what are those programs available to our district residents so that they can continue their education? We have a program that helps for foreclosure prevention and mediation, where we offer free assistance to our residents who maybe because of COVID or other issues that have happened, they may be behind in their mortgage, or they're afraid they're going to be behind in their mortgage. Maybe their mortgage company hasn't been sending them their paperwork or things like that. We have a hotline and clinics that are available on weekends. Now, as things open up, we're going from the virtual world back into more of a in-person world. But we have all of this information available to our residents on our website. So to put that out there also, it's DISB, DISB.dc.gov. So we were able this past year, we do a lot of in-person events around the district to try to get the information about what Michelle does, about what the rest of our department does to our residents. And even during COVID, we were able to reach over 7,600 residents through, we had 200 virtual events last year, but not everyone knows about these events. So please, if you can, go to our website. We have wonderful information there. We're even doing a new website that's coming out that's going to be even easier for our residents to be able to use, but it's got a calendar of information. We have Twitter accounts. We're always out there. Michelle's team is constantly working on new ways to use social media to reach younger folks. We have one of our staff who's been with us for decades. I won't say how long because he won't be thrilled, but he goes out and speaks to our elderly residents or residents of a certain age who are particularly this month. It's our Older Americans Financial Education Month. So we really are trying to help folks. We also just this last year helped and resolved 1,300 resident complaints that were filed against financial institutions. And when I say financial institutions, that's anything from your mortgage company to your any sort of like your banking, your insurance companies, all those things, your broker dealer, someone who's trying to sell you, you know, an annuity, all of those things. We regulate those folks and those companies. We try to make a safe environment for our consumers and also reach out to them. And our BizCat program, where we do these morning capital and coffees to let our entrepreneurs in the district know if you're having trouble getting a regular commercial loan to expand, to hire new staff, to make it through, we have programming and availability to help you by doing matching dollars from the District of Columbia. So it's really we have so much going on. We could talk for a long time.
You really do, and that's I didn't mean to cut you off. You were
So
okay.
if people need more, please feel free to contact us. Also, you know, you can call us anytime. You can reach out. Our phone number, I think it's on the bottom of the screen, which is great. 202-727-8000. Go to our website. Feel free to dive in and find different programming, and we're really here just to help and try to share information to educate and empower everyone.
Well, one of the things that Jessica mentioned earlier is the whole issue of generational wealth. How do we build that? And what it sounds like DISB does is not only to help to kind of fix some of the financial mistakes that we may have made in the past, but also to help us to plan financially for the future. And a lot of people in our community, I'm just going to ask you to speak to this, don't always think about the future generation. We think about, our present time. I have to pay my mortgage. I have to pay this. I have to pay that, my car note. And when I die, who I don't have to worry about it anymore. But then there's the next generation that has to worry about that, right? And has to plan, hopefully has something to kind of, push them ahead so that they're not, again, still looking at fixing the mistakes of the past. So just briefly, if you can, just talk about generational wealth and why it's important.
Well, we don't
Either one of you.
Yeah, we don't give advice to residents.
Right, I got that.
We won't tell you like, oh, go buy this or do that or invest here. But we give you all the information. We'll tell you who is a registered broker dealer. If someone's trying to sell you any sort of products, financial products, and we give information so that people understand, yes, you may own your home, and maybe you're thinking about for the future, you haven't gone past planning for maybe your funeral services and expenses because you want those covered. But one of the big gaps that I think there's some great information out and Michelle can speak to is that difference between what it means to have, what about your pension and your retirement and all the things you've worked so hard for your whole life, to be able to share that to help your next generation continue and be able to stay in your home. And Michelle's going to talk a little bit about some of our programming on this.
Because I think she probably knows too where I was headed with that. So I just want you to kind of contribute to this, Michelle, please.
Sure. Thank you so much. I will say one of our very good programs right now is Financially Fit DC. It's an initiative that we put together to help think about your financial continuum, because we know when you're managing your finances, you're in a different place at different ages and different stages. And so really starting to have people think about, what does my future look like? And then how do I give back to the community? Because one of the things that I see in a lot of times in African-American communities, they start over and it isn't necessary. Making sure that you have the appropriate life insurance so that you can transition. I shouldn't have to see people have GoFundMe accounts so that they can pay for a funeral. And so it's the planning part of it. People, it's very uncomfortable conversations to have, but it's something that's very important. With our Financially Fit DC program, it's a two-based program where it's an online financial tool where we cover topics such as budgeting, credit, home buying, planning for retirement, and building wealth. But beyond that, we also have curated series where we teach people about different aspects of those topics. So we just had one a couple of months ago about estate planning and talking to people how to utilize life insurance so they can plan for their future. We do have an event coming up on Wednesday with the Mayor's Office of African American Affairs to highlight emergency resources that are available for individuals that will be streamed online. So the generational wealth piece is a big piece when we look at the racial wealth gap and what's happening in Black and Brown communities. One of the things that stops people from getting involved is the lack of education. They don't know what their resources are. But then too, they may be afraid. They don't think they have the money that's available to do certain things. But in reality, there are so many resources here in the District of Columbia. If you're a low income individual, there's so many programs for home ownership to help you so that you can start down that path of generational wealth. Home ownership is usually the first piece for an individual.
Well, I'm really glad that two of you all were able to join us today. And I've got to get you back on. We're just running out of time right now, but I want to get you back on because one, there's a very real statistic that talks about the number of unbanked individuals in the District of Columbia and the reasons why. And so also some are looking to alternative resources like cryptocurrency. And I'm sure you all have stepped a little bit into this and are going to be able to advise people about that as well. And those are two things I really want to talk to you all about if I can get you back on in really soon.
And if I could just add, we do have our Bank on DC program that addresses that unbanked and underbanked community and making sure people understand what resources are available. We've even worked with financial institutions to create low to no cost financial products and services for the community, as well as to bring out networking events and other things that are available. People can also check out what we have going on, like Jessica said earlier, on our website, disb.dc.gov.
Wonderful. Thank you too for both of you, Michelle Hammonds and Jessica Ehrlich from the Department of Insurance, Securities and Banking, for being with us today. We look forward to having you back because, you know, as that movie said, or where's the money? And we really want to know, how do we build the wealth? So thank you for coming on and to sharing all this great information with us. And we look forward to seeing you soon.
Thank you so much for having us.
All righty. My pleasure.